Right, hey up YouTube, how you doing? Well, it's my birthday, and as it would appear, tradition is depicting that I went up to Newcastle, or up to Blythe. I went fishing for some mackerel, filmed it this time, and then the footage corrupted whilst I was filming the session that's going live this evening. The fishing for micros, the drop shotting in Blythe Harbour. Sod's law that, so that's my luck. And then following that, actually on my birthday, we've come fishing for smoothies on Bonkers Bank again. Seems to be what I do. Oh, it's what I've done for the last, well, 2 years running. So fingers crossed, maybe we'll smash another personal best. There were some crackers pulled out. There was over 15 pounder pulled out yesterday morning. So fingers crossed for something like that. Although if I do get something like that, I'm going to have to be very careful pulling it in because I've only got 14 pound main line on. My line's singing in the wind. But the traps are set. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous day. I am going to do a bit of time lapsing, but I'm going to try and keep the ranting and chatting to a minimum, because I'd like this to be a little bit of a shorter video. I'm just going to go pick up that blue box that some kids were playing with earlier. I'm just going to go pick it up, move it back to the back of the thing. My drags are set on the rods, so we'll roll the credits. I've done a setup time lapse. It's a bit of a long one because I was distracted a few times. Did some casting practice, birds nested, which I expected because the line wasn't laid very well on the fathom from last time. And I've just sent, because I'm cheap, I say cheap, I've just sent some carp and squid wraps out just to see what the toe's like, B, if there's crabs out there, and looking at the rod tips there is. I can see there's a problem with weed. Oh, that was a clicker drag. So I've got drags set. Every time I open my gob, I get a clicker drag. And it's not corresponding to a high wind. So something might be having a nosy already. There doesn't look to be too much colour in the water that far out, but it's okay. It's not crystal clear. There's a little bit of chop on, so we might stand a chance of a bass. I'd like a large bass. One that I can take home for my dinner would be very nice. Thank you very much. It's this one. Let's wind that on another click or two. So yeah, let's see what happens. Camera angles are going to be a bit squiffy because there is some tourists down here. There is some holiday makers down here today. So I just don't obviously like recording other people, especially children, if it's avoidable. So camera angles are going to be a bit funny, but I'll try and keep you on the rod tips as much as possible as always. Like to say welcome to all the new subscribers, and an extra special thank you and an extra special welcome to my first channel member. You know who you are. I'm not going to name you because I didn't put that down I did put a shout out as a perk, but I've not messaged to find out if I'm okay to shout him out, and also I don't know if it was a mistake or not. So but big thank you. If you do want to support the channel, I have set up memberships. There's a couple of perks, but there's not a great deal you can do when it comes to fishing. There will be members only giveaways. I've got one of them coming up, or I've got a giveaway coming up hopefully sometime soon. I'm over on TikTok as well, One Man and His Rod. Yeah, I'll roll the credits, I'll roll the time lapse, the setup time lapse, and then I'll see you after that. Talk to you in a bit. lead. What are you? You'll do. Slightly smaller hook, but you'll do. Right, well, maybe, just maybe, oh, I need a lead as well though. Just maybe, I'll be able to film. Oh, dear me. So, I need a clip. Looks like the crash has just kicked out behind me. Right, so what's been occurring? Kurt's had a couple of nice fish, and I'll put photos of them in. There is a video up on my TikTok of them as well. I hooked into a monster and it snapped 70-pound line. My main line, not my main line, it snapped my hook snood, 70-pound. That must have been some fish. Gutted. And then I've had great fun with the camera. The camera's been an absolute nightmare. So I'm just rigging back up now. Hopefully somebody catches that one that I've lost, because I hate to think there's a fish out there with a rig hanging out of its gob. So I've got this one, and then I'm out of circle hook rigs. So we'll get this sent back out. I mean, we all have days like this where just everything goes wrong. I've been struggling to hold bottom. Apart from, thankfully for most of you don't have bloody camera problems. And it looks like they might now have beggared off and I might have missed them, so. Because Kurt's gone quiet. Oh yeah. He's had two. I lost a good one. See, that annoys me. So you've got 4 fishermen fishing in close proximity, and when this lady decides to come down between us and send a dog in water chasing after a ball, she'd be one of them that'd be first to complain if the dog got an hook stuck. I mean, I've lost a rig, so there is going to be a hook out there somewhere. I can't recover it because it's in a fish. I mean, you know, I actually more hope that the hook's not in a fish, that it's managed to spit it. But yeah, she'd be first to complain when you've got literally 5 or 6 miles of beach and she comes and throws a dog in water between old fishermen. Like I said, and she'd be one of the first ones, like I said, to be on YouTube, on Facebook. Walking my dog this morning and bloody fishermen didn't clean up after themselves, and they'll be walking at low tide when water's half a mile away from where we were fishing. Come on, fishy. Give me a fish for my birthday. And don't get me wrong, I'm a dog owner, and I do have sympathy for them that, you know, they're walking the dog, and the dog gets lip hooked, or gets one in its paw. So let's have another time lapse, kind of because I'm afraid to turn the camera off. Because every time I do, I'm getting issues when I turn it back on. And I'm going to have a chill out for a little bit. Let those baits soak. So I'll put your time lapse on the rod tips and I'll speak to you in a bit. Right guys, I'm just moving down the beach, but rather than bore you with any more time lapse, I'll shut the camera off for a bit and I'll talk to you in a bit. Well, this is not the most eventful session, is it? But hey ho, that's the way it goes. Hopefully the back half will fish better. Speak to you in a bit. Well guys, an uneventful session so far for my birthday. We're on the back half. We've got another hour, maybe two at a push. I'm basically going to fish until I've run out of crabs, which gives me 10 more casts and try and keep fresh bait in the water. That's all I can do. I mean, if the hounds have swum through, they've swum through. You know, they could well be gone for the rest of the evening now. There's no way of knowing. I think my problem for the first half was my hooks were getting covered with weed. I mean, I was bringing in some weed monsters. Some proper weed monsters. Has that gone slack? The problem I seem to be having now is one of the lines just doesn't seem to be able to hold bottom. And it's the one I can cast out at range, so I might have to try a heavier lead on it. It's really struggling to hold bottom. So I think I've pretty much, in trying to tighten the line every couple of minutes, I think I've pretty much wound it all the way in. So I'm going to change baits in a minute. So give me another couple of minutes, I'm going to change baits, try and find somewhere to take a pee, because I'm absolutely busting. And where I'd normally go, there's been some kids down here for the last sort of hour or so. If they had two brain cell between them, they'd be dangerous. Nah, they're all right. To be fair, they've been more respectful than most adults that come down here. They've seen the lines every time. They've shouted to between one another, saying, "Oh, his fishing lines are there," blah blah blah. So I can't fault them. Like I say, they're more respectful than most adults. And especially more dog walkers, boarders and jet skiers than come down here. I chuckle because they can't have been much more than 50 yards off the beach, came screaming down. I think Kurt just managed to get their attention before they went through his line. And they would have definitely have gone through both of my lines, because at that point I was casting quite far. I do think I probably should have kept one closer in for some bass. I think there might have been enough movement for some close in bass, although not sure if there's enough colour. Right, so the polarising glasses are a bit misleading, because of course you can't see the colour in the water. But anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off for a bit. I'm going to play about, I'm going to try and get hindsight working, so that if I catch a fish, I can press the shutter button and hopefully it'll give me the 15 seconds prior. So I can frame everything up and hopefully, fingers crossed, the hounds swim back through and we'll get some on the ebb. We can't have it all. I had a cracking session last time. In fact, every time I've come here so far this year, I've had a cracking session. So, you know, I really cannot be disappointed. Personal best bass of around about £4. Personal best smooth hound at £12.10. I actually said it wrong in the video and I think in the Facebook posts. For some reason we all had it in his head that there were 10 ounces in a pound, and that you had to take 6 ounces off the scales to compensate for the bag we were weighing in. And so yeah, it came in, it was £13 3 ounce on the scale, so that makes it £12 13 ounce, doesn't it? So 16 ounces in a pound. So, you know, I really can't complain. I really can't complain. So yeah, I'm going to shut off the camera for a little bit, have a play about with some settings, and I'll probably leave you off until hopefully something happens. Speak to you in a bit. Oh, don't forget, like, share and subscribe please, it does help me out. And before I forget, I'm going to start mentioning in the next few videos, because I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, I'm going to be off for a little while. It looks like I'm going to have some surgery, which means that I'm going to be unable to drive or go fishing for around about 4 to 6 weeks, which is going to be gutting. It's going to be absolutely gutting. It means I'm going to miss the start of whiting season, but I haven't got a choice. Although sod's law is I'll get that surgery done and then I'll get my surgery booked in for my hand and it'll take me back out again. But like I say, if there is a lull in videos, And if it comes out of the blue, I'll try and keep you updated on the community page on YouTube and on Facebook. I am one man, Russ One Man on the Facebook, and obviously there's the community tab on YouTube. So, you know, if my appointments come through, as soon as they come through, I'll try and make you guys aware, just so you don't think the channel's gone dead and I've not abandoned you. Continued support is appreciated, and obviously I would like to come back to and continue fishing ASAP, but yeah, they've told me literally on the way here, driving here, that I'm going to have to have some surgery, and it's going to take me out for at least 4 weeks, probably 6. Apparently I'm not even going to be able to go to work. So yeah, I'm going to be housebound for 4 to 6 weeks. It's going to drive me up the wall, and it'll probably in turn I'll drive the missus up the wall. What a birthday present, eh? Hey, listen, last year it was I couldn't have maternity leave. This year it's that you're going to have some surgery, Mr. Brennan. No, it's not a gastric band, as much as I wish it kind of was. They reckon my weight is down to something else. I've done all the diaries, the activity logs, blah, blah, blah. And by their science, by their math and their science, I should be 15 stone wet through. Anyway, so the surgery is something else. I'm not going to go into it. It's personal, but it is going to take me offline for 4 to 6 weeks. So once I know when that's going to be happening, I'll let you guys know. But please don't let that put you off liking, sharing, subscribing. There's 2 years worth. I think there's somewhere in the region of 60 videos in the back catalogue to watch of all my successes, all my failures, a couple of hints and tips videos. I'll probably do some rig tying videos once I'm able to get back on my feet, because I do have a lot of people asking me about the paternoster, about the dongle rig, about my 2-up clip downs, things like that. Yes, I do now sell rigs. Am I advertising? Am I pushing it? No. To be honest, rig tying is something I loathe. I don't like doing it, but I'm too tight to buy other people's rigs. And if you buy other people's rigs, if something fails, have you got yourself to blame, or do you have to blame your rig tire? I don't know. Anyway, I'll speak to you in a bit. Turned off? Oh, it turned off. Well, guys, I'm dropping to one rod. I'm pretty much calling it a night, to be fair. The fish just, like I said, normally, in my limited experience, you expect it, if it fishes well on the flood, you expect it to turn around and fish relatively well on the ebb. Just not happened today. It's just not happened today. So I'm dropping to one rod, and I'm having one more cast with that one rod. It's not quite bait change yet, but I'm dropping to one rod. I don't think anything's going to happen, but I'll fish for as long as I can. The rocks are starting to come into view, which is normally when I call it a night, generally speaking, because the water is, although still in, very shallow. So it's generally speaking, you're fishing in 2 to 3 feet of water. Now you can catch smoothies, you can catch bass, you can catch pretty much anything still in 2 to 3 feet of water, but I don't know. It's not my preferred way of fishing. I like a bit of water. So we've got a bit of unfinished business, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do this weekend. Penciled in for this weekend originally was for going to Brid South Pier, but I see me now as having a bit of unfinished business with this location. Especially if I'm going to be off for a bit. So I'm not too sure when it's going to happen. but I'm on what they call fast track. In other words, I'm queue jumping for this surgery, so it could be as soon as next week. There's no real way of knowing. Now I can say this, or I can say it on YouTube now, because majority of my family don't actually know, because I wanted to know what was happening with me before I worried them. But now I know. By the time this video goes out, they will be aware. So it's all good. The bloody hell! Oh, good. Oh, good. We've got somebody who reckons they're a professional dog trainer now. I've got a whistle for my dog. I'm a professional dog trainer. No, you're not. You're an asshole. Your dog was still away and down the beach before you were even on the beach. So, you know, does not make you a responsible dog owner, because you couldn't see your dog. Yes, you whistled and it came, but you couldn't see it. Or it couldn't see you. You know, a responsible dog owner that does not make. Right, so yeah, I've got half a crab left, defrosted. So that's going to be my last bait. Thought somebody was shouting fish on then. Alas, no, and it's not just me that's not seeing fish. None of us are that are down here today. It's gone quiet for everybody. I think my biggest problem for the first half, I think I might have already mentioned this, was the fish couldn't see my hook. Every time I was bringing it in, the hook was mullered in mayweed. You know, the hook was completely invisible. So I think that was my biggest problem early doors. But we can't have any control over that, really, can we? So, you know, it is what it is. Right. I'll see you in a bit. I'll knock the camera back off and I'll see you in a wee bit. In fact, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one more time lapse. But what I'm going to do, unless a fish comes on in the next cast, is it's going to be a time lapse that's going to run right to the end. So, in case I don't come back, stay safe, tight lines. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you later.